Welcome back! This third part of the tutorial is about subgraphs. Let's check it out. In the studio, you should try to keep your model as clear and organized as possible. By making subgraphs, you can not only add more depth to your model, but you can also reuse these graphs again in other parts of the decision tree. Let's start by making a new graph in the module node. You can do this by right-clicking the node and selecting New Graph. We're going to name this graph Secrecy. As you can see, the underlined title appears under Modules with an indent. To go to your newly created subgraph, click on its title. The graph in the studio now focuses on one branch of the decision tree. To navigate between the main tree and its branches, you can use the arrows in the top left corner of the graph. Clicking the Home button will also bring you to the main graph again. The Modules part of the non-disclosure agreement discusses the specific terms of the agreement. Next to Secrecy, we want to make graphs that discuss applicable law, purpose, others, termination, and penalty. For this part of the tutorial, we will focus on the Secrecy graph. The question that we want to ask in the starting node is what exact information is subject to the secrecy. To have a text box that is larger than one line, we select the input memo. Let's also add some optional answers in the default box. The information looks a bit pressed together. We can make adjustments in the size of the text box by clicking the lock button in the interface bar. Now, we can adjust the text box to our liking and lock it again. After changing the title of the node Secrecy, we can add another node. In this node, which we will name Record, we will ask the question whether or not the parties keep a record of the information provided by the buyer. This question requires a not null yes or no answer, which you can find in the drop-down menu of the radio group input. The next tutorial elaborates more on text inputs. To structure your application, the interface gives you the option of selecting multiple screen modes. This is manageable through clicking the Screen Mode button, found here. This button indicates where this node will be presented in the application. This can either be on a new screen, below the last node, or above the last one. Make sure that the Secrecy node gets a new screen and that the Record node ends up below the last one. Delete the title Record in the interface by clicking the red icon after selecting. This makes the continuation look smoother in the application. You can test this by saving your model and running it in the Berkeley runner. Now that you know how to add text, questions, nodes, and graphs, let's get a little bit more in depth. To continue this tutorial, go on to the next video, which explains how to add conditions to the model.